mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you with a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you with a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a renaissance, man.
Wow, breaking news. Yeah, the New York Jets have traded away their only two All-Pro players on the roster. I won't lie to you. So this news kind of came out while I was at the office today, and I was in a meeting, so I didn't see anything like that. So it's my lunchtime, and then all of a sudden, as I get out into my lunchtime, I'm getting flooded with all the notifications that shows that, like, oh snap, the New York Jets have traded Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner gets traded. Listen, I don't. I get it. I get it. It makes sense. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't speak just about this the other day in regards to the potential of let's say a Sauce Gardner getting traded. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I didn't say I would entertain Sauce Gardner getting traded. I literally said these things. And did I think the Jets were going to trade, your two-time All-Pro, three-time Pro Bowl cornerback? I didn't. I really didn't. I didn't think they had the balls to do it. I didn't think that the freaking Aaron Glenn was going to go ahead and have the guts to part ways with one of his best players. It didn't seem like a real thing to me. But in all actuality, when you hear the compensation you get back for the Sauce Gardner trade, it makes a lot of sense. We can sit here and argue it all day. And I want to make sure I explain myself as clear as possible. Do I think the New York Jets should have traded Sauce Gardner when you're talking about, in terms of draft picks, is you want to go ahead and get as many good players as possible? He's 27 years old. No. I'm also a fan of the team. As a fan, no, I didn't want to trade Sauce Gardner. I talked about it because it makes sense, logically speaking. If you're looking at that football from 10,000 feet above and you're looking at all the pieces like a chess move, it makes sense to trade him because of the current state of the New York Jets. But as a fan, no, you don't want to trade one of your best guys. I mean, I got the guy's jersey hanging up on my wall. I'm gonna have to get another jersey to replace that, and you don't want to do that. But you get offered 2 first-round picks and an upside wide receiver. You got to go ahead and take the call. And this is why I say that. So Sauce Gardner, first 2 seasons came into the league. I mean, freaking stud, right? All pro. We thought we had a guy. We thought we got the next Revis. The last year, okay, last couple of years, all right, hit or miss. He was again a top 5, top 10 guy in the NFL, top 5, top 10 corner in the NFL. I'm going to take that away from him. That's Sauce Gardner. He is going to be a top 5, top 10 cornerback in the NFL, I think, for years to come. As he currently stands now, I believe he's a top 5, top 10 cornerback in the NFL, which means he's one of the top guys at his position. But the fact of the matter is this, man. If you're going to be honest, let's take off the Jets goggles off for a brief second. Look at Sauce Gardner in terms of impact. The Jets are a losing organization, losing franchise. We've had Sauce Gardner now for 4 years, and it hasn't changed. We've been a losing organization since we've had him. We're 1-7 now since he's been playing for us this season. In fact, our one win came without him being on the field. Sauce Gardner is the guy that we go to defend him a lot. It seems like whenever we need to go to bat for Sauce Gardner, we're doing it on paper. Like he's a paper tiger, right? And then what I mean by that is a lot of times when you see a lot of individuals going back and forth about Sauce Gardner this and Sauce Gardner that, Ahmad Gardner this, Ahmad Gardner that, you see a lot of people talking about how like he's statistically this or statistically that on charts and on paper, on graphs. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, data analytics shows us that we've got a guy, right? This is a guy who plays cornerback really, really well at an elite level even. But when you watch the games on Sundays, I got to ask you, man, do you feel like Sauce Gardner is a top 5 corner in the NFL? Do you feel like he's the number 1 corner in the NFL when you watch this dude play on Sundays? I gotta admit, man, I don't feel like when I watch him on Sundays, that's what we're getting the investment of making him the highest paid corner. I don't feel like we're getting that back, right? Yeah, I get it. After the fact, when you pull out the graphs, separation, the completion percentage, completions, how difficult. I get it. I get all that. You know what I'm saying? He's top notch, top tier. But when you watch him on Sundays, you just don't get the vibe that this dude is that dude. When you watch Patrick Surtain on Sundays, like, man, that dude's a dog, right? He's a game changer. He impacts the games. Sauce doesn't impact the game. Sauce Gardner is, I think, a good to great corner, but he's not a game changer. He doesn't turn the ball over. The kind of brand of football they want him to play now, I don't know if he's physically able to do it. He's already dealt with the injuries, got the concussion now. The physical brand of football that Aaron Glenn wants to play, I don't know if Sauce can do that. Great cover guy, man. But he's not going to cause any turnovers. He's not going to go ahead and, he's not a game changer in that aspect. So when you get offered 2 first round picks and you get offered, a high end upside wide receiver that was high on a lot of people's boards in this past 2 drafts ago, I kind of understand why you have to do it. From the as a football fan, it makes sense. As a Jets fan, it sucks because you love the guy. You love the fact that he wanted to be here. He wanted to go ahead and be a part of the change. What ultimately makes the New York Jets, a good team again. And he now goes to the Indianapolis Colts. He woke up this morning 1-7. He's going to go to sleep tonight 7-2. The number 1 team in the AFC right now, the number 1 team in the NFL, I believe. So now you get a first round pick in this year's draft and a first round pick in next year's draft for Sauce Gardner. And maybe we can go ahead and unlock, Adonai Mitchell's 80s complete skill set and what made him a high draft pick in the draft. And he can go ahead and contribute to this wide receiver room where we've got a couple of second rounders now between him, Mechie, and they're going to be freaking going at it. We've got Arian Smith back there. Hopefully he can go ahead and figure some things out. So you're seeing an infusion of youth in terms of the wide receiver room, Garrett Wilson being the ultimate, like the dog in that freaking room. Maybe we can go ahead and maybe we can unlock something in some of these young guys. So I'm starting to go ahead and settle in. I'm getting the information right. And then, man, breaking news. Here we go again, right? And I won't lie to you, man. This one makes sense to me. So a lot of individuals are going to tell you like this doesn't make a lot of sense, but this trade made sense. I believe the Jets realized they weren't going to. I'm trying to say this as kind as possible because I am a fan of this as an individual. But Quinton Williams gets traded to the Cowboys. And some people are going to tell you that it was stupid. Some people are going to tell you like it made sense. But at the time when the trade was announced, all they said was Quinton Williams is traded for a first round pick and more, right? And for me, he's 27 years old. He's the oldest tenured Jet. Q, again, another individual stud, an all-pro player, right? That hasn't really contributed to winning for the New York Jets. We've had him in his prime. We've had him for a long time now. What has it gotten us? It hasn't gotten us W's. We got a guy that we love as fans, a guy that we want to go ahead and see be the face of the franchise and be a part of the process. But ultimately, it hasn't resulted in W. So when you get offered a first-round pick for a guy who's 27, there's already news sources coming out saying that there was some concerns and some discontent with Quinton Williams in the Jets. You start to realize like this was going to be a divorce anyway. The Jets were not going to be able to retain Quinton Williams. It seems like they were already in an impasse. And you're able to go ahead and get a first-round pick for him. Okay, great. 27 years old. He's not happy. You're going to have to pay the dude, what, $25 to $30 million a year. That's a win for me. You were able to go ahead and get a guy. We're not winning. We're 1-7. We're not a team that's competing this year. He doesn't want to be a Jet. He's already been upset ever since we let go of Aaron Rodgers. He's kind of expressed his frustrations. So for me, Quinton Williams was the guy that I thought was going to get traded first and foremost. And the fact that, he was traded after the Sauce trade was announced said a lot. But then you get the full scope of what we got for Quinton Williams. So for Q, the New York Jets not only receive a first-round pick next year, the Cowboys' first-round pick, they also get a second-round pick this coming draft. And they freaking got a player in return. Now, when I heard the player, and I know a lot of people are going to say, like, oh, my God, he's been kind of a bust, but Mozzie Smith was the guy coming out, and I think it was 2023 that we all kind of liked. I know I liked him. He was high for me in defensive tackle, a guy that I thought was going to be impactful in stopping the run. And he doesn't bring you all the things Q can do because Q can stop the run. He can get to the quarterback. He can create pressure. Q is a do-it-all defensive tackle. But Mozzie Smith's going to come in here, and he's going to be a guy that I think we can kind of revitalize him a little bit. He hasn't really quite lived up to his draft grade with the Cowboys, but I believe you put him in the right situation, and you now have a situation to where he might be able to go ahead and unlock that next chapter for himself. So Mozzie Smith comes along with the trade for Quinnen Williams. So you look at the trade factor; those are some major moves today. Major moves today, and I gotta tell you, man, the more I'm sitting back and I'm starting to realize this had to be done. You gotta appreciate what freaking Muji's been able to accomplish, and I get it. These are all Aaron Glenn moves. These are moves that can help this organization get turned around real fast. Listen, if we're being honest with ourselves, the New York Jets are limited in talent. I know we've told ourselves that this team was very talented, but the fact of the matter is that just wasn't the case. We've seen over the last couple of years that the team's talent pool or the talent level is top heavy, lacks a lot of depth. And in doing this, you've also kind of looked at some of the guys you brought in Azura Thomas, Brandon. You're starting to like the cornerback room a little bit. These are Aaron Glenn guys. The Brownlee freaking trade I thought was a pretty nice trade. You see him doing some things as well at the slot position. There's a lot. You're seeing these moves happen. And you're kind of seeing AG trying to create this team in his image, right? Guys that are going to be physical, that plays his brand of football, guys that kind of speak to resonate to what he wants this team to look like. Now, Jets are in a full rebuild. There's no offense or buts about it. This breaking news lets us know right now Jets are in a full rebuild. We're doing it because you can't get rid of your two best players and not expect, people to realize, okay, so this is it. Now, does this mean they tank for the rest of the year? I don't know. Does this revitalize the team and they get a couple more wins? I don't know. I think we're going to lose a lot more games than we win for the remainder of the season. I think we're going to finish off with a top 3 pick. But this is a way for the Jets to kind of like revitalize this organization a lot faster than if we were to go the traditional route, because by accumulating these assets now, you can infuse this team with younger individuals, cheaper individuals who also fit the mold of what the vision AG has for this team. The question is this: do we trust the vision that AG has for this team? And I think that's where I'm feeling a bit hesitant in regards to everything we've just accomplished here today on the trade freaking deadline. At the trade deadline, the New York Jets got a 2026 first round pick, a 2026 second round pick from Dallas. So they're going to have 2 firsts and 2 seconds this year. Then they got a 2027 first round pick, 2027 first round pick from Dallas, and a 2027 sixth round pick from Philadelphia. But who cares about that? But then they'll have their own. So there'll be 5 first round picks in 2027 and 2 second round picks in 2027. So that's a lot of, oh my gosh, that's a lot of high assets to go ahead and get this team turned around real fast. But the question I have for you is this: do we trust this regime to get it right? And honestly, I don't know. We watched one game where it felt like this team was coached well and they were prepared, and that was the last game against the Bengals that we had before the bye. I don't believe you look at that and believe you have enough of a sample size to say, yep, we got it finally figured out. So for me, I just don't know if this is enough or if this is the regime that's going to be able to utilize these assets in the right way for us to go ahead and get to the promised land. Now, I understand why we did it. I understand this team was not going anywhere currently assembled as is. And in order for you to go ahead and get better in this league, you got to do one of 2 things. You got to draft well, and you got to have money to spend on free agents to bring into your organization. The Jets right now have put themselves in a position to have both. You're going to have plenty of assets to draft quality players. You got to make the right choices, though, because, again, every draft pick is a lottery pick. And then we're going to have I think it's $80 million in cap space next year now by offloading some of those contracts, which is going to allow you to go ahead and bring in some quality free agents that hopefully are in the mold of AG. Again, you love the game plan. You do. You've got to love the game plan, because the way it's already been for the Jets have not been winning games. So it wasn't working. So you take your 2 most valuable assets and you flip them for premium assets in the hopes that you can turn those into valuable assets that can actually help turn things around and we can start winning some games. AG, I don't think AG or Muji has. Well, Muji, I won't lie. I've been impressed with some of these trades that he's made, some of the acquisitions that he's made. He's added more talent and depth to this roster. And it's been like nitpicky things here and there, but then overall, you're seeing some of the returns on this investment so far, and you're loving what you're seeing. But again, is AG the guy? Is he going to be the one that gets us this thing turned around? Do you believe in not building around a guy like Quininen Williams, not building around a guy like Sauce Gardner, and rather you want to implement your own game plan and try to find guys in the mold or to your liking? I don't know, man. I don't know. Ultimately, today the Jets lost their two best players. The two best players. I think when it comes to like freaking Garrett Wilson, he's one of our best players, our best offensive player potentially. I think he has one of the higher ceilings of the players on the roster. But our two best proven players on this roster are definitively Quininen Williams and Sauce Gardner. They have the accolades to back it, and they're no longer a New York Jets. They're gone. Tonight, the New York Jets roster did not get better. It got worse. But the fact of the matter is, did we get worse in the hopes of we get better sooner? Time will tell. Ultimately, we lost two good ones. Sauce Gardner is gone, and so is Quininen Williams. There was some rumblings in regards to Breece Hall, hoping he was going to get traded, so there's some discontent there. The Jets had on the table for JJ a second-round pick, but they just chose to keep JJ. Breece was, was a fourth-round pick. They were had on the table for Breece Hall, and then instead of trading him for the fourth, decided to keep him as well. So you have to hope that maybe there's a plan to go ahead and re-sign those guys or revitalize those guys so they understand the value they bring to the organization. You hope. But ultimately, the Jets got worse today in the hopes that they can get better sooner. Do we win any more games for the rest of the season? I don't know. We got the Cleveland Browns coming up next. A game that I didn't think we were going to win really with our team fully studded up with talent. And now it's even got more question marks in regards to that game. But there it is. Breaking news. Wanted to jump on here real quick and let you guys know the New York Jets have traded away our two best players. Our two all pros. All pros are gone. And now we got to hope that this current regime with all the assets we've just accumulated can do the right thing and get this team turned around sooner than later. I'll tell you this, if one of those freaking draft picks winds up being a franchise quarterback, I think we're all okay with what happened today. I think for a lot of Jets fans who are upset about it, you just got to ask yourself, man, were we going to turn this thing around fast enough with the current dynamic of the team without the accumulation of assets, or will we be wasting the years of Sauce Gardner or wasting the years of more years of Quininen Williams, whereas the value for them later on might not be there for us to be able to fast track potentially this rebuild that we're undoubtedly now in. Full rebuild, it's happening. No more, no more teetering or tinkering like we were saying before. This is a rebuild. We're rebuilding. Do we have the right guys in the building to go ahead and do the rebuild? Time will tell. But nevertheless, today, Quininen Williams and Sauce Gardner woke up 1-7, and they are going to sleep tonight on better rosters with, dare I say, much better records. I don't know really if Quinnen's going to a better roster because the Cowboys, man, I don't know. But anyway, that's that. There was another trade right on the deadline for a corner out of the LA Chargers. We traded a seventh-round pick for this guy, so some depth pieces. I don't remember the names, so I apologize. Nevertheless, that was the big that's breaking news for today. Sauce Gardner, Quininen Williams are gone. We've accumulated 5 draft picks, Adonai Mitchell and Mazzie Smith, defensive tackle, to add to the roster. So, as always, go Jets. We'll be talking more about this at the Hang or Hangout tomorrow night, but I had to definitely get out here and do a quick video so that way you guys are tracking what's going on, although I know you already got your news from Twitter and TikTok and probably other YouTubers. But that's that. Appreciate you guys for listening real quick, and then hopefully I see you guys tomorrow at the Hang or Hangout where we'll talk more in detail about the trajectory of the New York Jets and what these trades potentially mean for fast-tracking us to hopefully relevance once again. All right. Go Jets.
I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you ever lost? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a Renaissance, man. I can do it all, I will never fall. It's the Renaissance, you know that I got the mother sauce, man. You know I'm the boss, I know what it costs. Have you at a loss? I'm so versatile, yeah, I'm a renaissance, man.